Folks, this is the Brunswick GS-98 pin setter. The time is 1 o'clock this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about pin delivery with the GS-98. Got 3 different motors here on this pin setter. This motor here is going to run your pin delivery. It's a belt here, and it's 2 belts behind here that you really can't see. But this motor does drive your delivery belts for your pin setter. This is the drive belt. These green belts here are your delivery belts. The pins will ride along these belts. And if you notice here, you got a little flapper that sits up. It's just to guide the pin into the pin holder. And once the pin falls in there, this flap will fall down to allow the next pin to pass over without being double loaded. Okay. Now, this motor here runs your sweep wagon, and the motor in the very back, that motor does run your deck. And you also have a motor down in the floor that runs the ball return for both sides, because the ball just falls into a subway and is accelerated up front. If you see, like between the 2 gutters, this wide piece here, that is called a gutter cap. If you were to yank that up, you would be able to see the ball track. Now we're going to walk back here to the back of this machine, and I'll talk about it for a minute, and then we're going to fire it up and let it run. All right. Now, when I start this machine, when I turn this machine on, you're going to see the transport band move. When the pins fall into the transport band, they will be pulled toward the back of the machine and loaded into these things here, which are called shovels. As we've got a pin here, this is the pin elevator. The shovels carry the pins to the top of the pin setter. And once at the top of the pin setter, the machine's, once at the top of the pin setter, the machine will load the pin into this little plastic tray here, which is pretty much a modern version of the turn pan on the old Brunswick AA2 pin setters. Okay. Now, we got a pin counter switch here. Now, when a pin passes by this, it will work this shark switch right here to guide the pin either one way or the other to be delivered through the pin setter to be loaded onto the deck and set on the floor again. Now, I'm standing behind the machine, so this is the left-hand side of the machine. When the shark switch moves this way, it will guide the pin. As you can see, it guides the pin. If it were moved that way, it would guide the pin that way. And on the left-hand side of the pin setter here, you load the 7 pin, you load the you load the 10 pin, you load the 6 pin, you load the 9 pin, and you load the 3 pin, which is up there. And on the right-hand side of the machine, you will load the 8 pin, you will load the 5 pin, you will load the 2 pin, the head pin, and of course the 3 pin is on the left-hand side. And back here in this corner back here is the 10 pin. The 10 pin is loaded on the right hand. The 7 pin, I'm sorry y'all getting messed up, the 7 pin is loaded on the right hand side, the pin setter. Turn this thing on here real quick, we'll watch it run. Talk about delivery, talk about power supply belts. This is a drive belt. These 2 are drive belts. This belt here drives your pin elevator, which will work your pins to the top of the machine. We got another drive belt over here. All these drive belts are run by the pin delivery motor that I showed you up front, the very front motor on the machine. This drive belt will run your transport band in the bottom of the machine. Talk about something else here real quick. This little pin counter switch that I have here. As you notice, this is made out of wood. It's a wooden dowel rod. It's a lot better than what they sell you with the machine or try to sell you with the machine. This here is plastic. As you can see, it flexes, it bends, it doesn't work very well. You put these things in here, these things will slide up and down, they'll be slid up, it won't count the pin. They get bent up, and when the machine's working, they go around the pin instead of counting the pin, or they flex back and get caught in your elevator. and then they're worthless. Well, they're worthless when you get them, but they're really worthless then. With the dowel rod here, as you can see, my dowel rod is a little bit longer than this plastic thing here. With this dowel rod being longer, you can run this switch further away from the your pin elevator, and it does not get jammed. It doesn't bend. It doesn't break. It stays in place. Took a dowel rod and cut into it about that far down, so it has a knot so that it will not slide up. We had some of these that were bad on machines that we got tired of dealing with, and I was talking to my head mechanic, and I came up with the idea of the dowel rod. And the next day I came into work, we had dowel rods on every one of our pin counter switches on all 6 of our GS pin setters. A great and fabulous idea. Look at there, folks. Puzzle piece parts. You can't beat them. We got a few puzzle piece parts around here, along with the puzzle piece bearing puller that I came up with on the spur of the moment. We had to get a bearing out and couldn't get it out, and I come up with the way, and she popped out of there. So now we're gonna turn this thing on. I'm gonna reset the pin setter. One more time. As you can see, those are the pin holders that the pins fall into. Here we go. If you watch, when this pin counter, come here, watch. You see the shark switch move with the pin counter switch. See, look at that. That's what that shark switch does. It just guides the pins. Almost like trains on a track. And once the pins fall into your pin holders here, let's take a pin out. This is the pin holder. When the pin falls down into there, you got a door here that when the deck comes back up, when the machine's ready to receive pins, your little pin flapper's open, like I mentioned in a previous video, allowing this door to open, and this pin will drop through onto the deck to be loaded in one of the 10 pin holders. We'll just show you a pin holder here real quick. That's what a pin station looks like. So when it's in the pin holder, it gets loaded onto the deck into this pin station. This will come to the floor, invert, and set the pin. We're going to see it set a rack of pins here in a second. Bam. Loaded onto the deck. That is the entire pin delivery and setting process of the GS-98 pin setter. As you can see, that's your deck motor. That's your deck motor. Alright. Watch this. That's your sweep wagon motor. Deck motor going down. Sweep wagon motor should engage. And this motor runs continuously as long as the machine is running to deliver the pins through the machine. As you can see, look at them falling into the pin places there. Look at there. Bam. As you can see, that pin falls in there. The next pin behind it is allowed to pass because that flap fell down. And it will stay down until that pin is loaded onto the deck and it will pop back up again. Well, folks, there you have it. Pin delivery with the GS-98 pin setter.